Hello everyone, Dustin Zahner with Creating the Difference. Today we're going to be talking about bowling ball surface and when bowling balls get to the surface that's best for you. I'm going to be referring to that as the sweet spot for the surface on the bowling ball throughout the video. So we're doing a test here, and this is actually in the middle of a test. The bowling ball started at 1,000 grit, but at the time that we're going to show these shots, it was right about 2,000 grit. So I'll go ahead and start the footage here, and we're really just going to walk through, what this ball is doing as it goes through the pins, how it's reacting, so that way you can get a good idea of what I'm experiencing, what I'm thinking, and really some keys to understanding what service is best for you. So this bowling ball, I will look up the factory finish here. This bowling ball comes out of the box at a 2,000 grit Sire factory finish. So this is actually at a 2,000 grit Truca finish at the start of this video. But just because it comes out of the box at that 2,000 grit surface does not necessarily mean that, that's the surface that you have to keep it at. I've had bowling balls that come out of the box with a lot of surface that I liked polished or vice versa. So if this is, the finish that we're starting with, it's not really looking too great. I'm going to go ahead and rewind it back to actually the last 10 pin that I left here that I went ahead and, of course, missed. So watch as this ball goes through the pins. It hits the head pin, but it kind of deflects just a little bit. It doesn't really go through the pins as well as I would like to see it. And same with the next one, honestly. I think the next one is actually a better case of the ball not really going through the pins the right way. Kind of just just pukes. It doesn't really store energy, go through the pins the right way. So this, like, if I'm bowling a tournament and I have this ball reaction, this ball is going back in the bag and probably not getting touched until later, if at all. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is, one, matching up to a service, of course, but also, having a bowling ball that's going to give you the maximum amount of room for error. So as we go through the test here, I'm going to leave lots of 9 counts in this first game. And I'll let you know the scores from each game as well, so that way you can really see, the importance of, when that surface is best for you. So we're going to get a shot here. And again, keep in mind that the surface is changing as we're bowling, and that shot actually looked really good going through the pins that way. So, it's starting to look a little bit better. So we'll see what this shot here does. Pretty close. And it's starting to hook more, so it's getting more increased length as it goes down the lane. So granted, the surface isn't changing a whole lot. At the end of this game, we were at a 3,000 grit surface. So, and that shot was thrown absolutely terrible. At this game, we're thrown at a 3,000 grit surface. So about 1,000 grit points just in that one game of surface change here. So going into the next game, as we finish this game up, we're actually getting into the 10th frame right now. Like, how the ball's going through the pins is quite a bit different than it was just a couple shots ago. That continued really, really well. And with a move left, I'm actually able to take advantage of that increased length, developing some friction down lane. The ball was at 2,000 grit to start the last game, and is now at a 3,000 grit surface. The first one didn't go through the pins great, but the second one was definitely better. So the reason I wanted to talk to you about this was really for you to understand, like, just because a bowling ball comes out the box at 2,000 grit, like I said, it doesn't have to stay at 2,000 grit. So that's when it's important to really take the time to, practice with new bowling balls, practice with different surfaces. Like start a bowling ball at 500 grit and just bowl, see what happens, and that way you're really able to get a range of when the ball is good, and then know when the ball necessarily isn't good. Like for me, this ball at 1,000 grit was not good. And when I got to this sweet spot with this bowling ball at 3,000 grit, it looks much better. Like that shot there, I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. So you can see where this ball is at the break point. Maybe a little further right than it should have been. But watch this one. Watch where this one is at the break point. Not that one. Maybe the next one. Might have went back a little too far. Yeah, that one right there. That one is considerably further left. About 2 or 3 boards further left than the last two. So I'm getting that extra room out of this bowling ball that I may not have gotten with the fresher surface. So as we continue to watch these shots, this is the ball reaction I want to see, and this is actually a bowling ball that was remade in the past couple months. That was a really good piece to the EBI line back in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. So like this is a piece that I had originally, and I really liked the remake as well. So this is exactly what I want to see out of something like this, a predictable shape with a surface that I know I'm going to like. So when I go to a tournament, I'm going to say, okay, I need to put 3,000 grit on this ball. 3,000 grit is my sweet spot, and that's when it's going to perform the best. So I shot 296 that game. So obviously I had the right ball in my hand and had the right shape to be able to continue to strike. So going into game 3, we're starting to see a little bit of a flat line in terms of the surface change. The ball actually is still right about 3,000 grit. So we still have a similar surface on this bowling ball. So we're going to be able to continue to, throw some good shots and, have that right shape in our bag. Again, further in, lays there, but still recovers because compared to the, the 1,000 grit or 2,000 grit that we started with this video, we're getting that increased length and not as much earlier hook. So a little 4-pin, nothing hurt. So we go ahead and make the spare, and we continue on. So when we're doing this test, we actually use the CTD Ball Surface Scanner version 2 to really get a good idea of where the surface is at after each frame or after each couple frames. And it's a great tool to use like while you're bowling league. Like it's perfectly legal to use during league bowling or tournament bowling to to really, help you understand, okay, 3,000 grit is the sweet spot for this ball, and when it gets to 4,500 or 4,000, it's not great. So that means I need to go to something different. And you can see that the ball motion is starting to change quite a bit here. Left a couple of 4 pins, left that 9 pin. I am continuing to move left because, of course, the lane is breaking down as we're going here. But, you need to have a good idea of when these balls are good, sort of the ranges that it's able to play on the lane. Like if I'm doing this same thing with a traction ball, I'm probably not going to be this far left. So it's good to understand, okay, I can usually get, left of 20, but I can't get left of 25 with said ball. Of course, it's really dependent on the sort of the conditions that you're bowling on, but at least gives you a decent idea of what to expect when you're competing. So that is the end of game number 3, and we shot 232 that game. So at the end of game 3, we're getting close to 4,000. The grit number that we actually read averaged to be 3666. So we're creeping up to that number, and where the surface is changing. So, and just to give you an idea, at frame 5 of this game is when the ball gets to 4,000 grit. So it can really depend on, like I said, the conditions that you're bowling on, to when the surfaces are good. Like if I'm bowling at the EC, if I'm bowling like a challenge match that's a CTD staff exclusive opportunity, or if I'm bowling like league at the EC, I know, okay, this ball is going to be good for just a couple frames, and I'm probably going to have to put it away. Not a couple frames, a couple games, which honestly is fine. Like I'm more than happy to make that change if it is necessary. So pretty nasty split here. Actually was able to go ahead and convert that. Pretty cool. So this game here is really where the ball reaction starts to change. You noticed earlier in game 2 when I had the front 11 that I literally had the world in terms of my target down lane. So if I'm bowling, in this situation here, if I'm actually able to have this ball with a fresher surface on it, like if I take 2 to a tournament, I'm probably going to actually go to the fresh ball and start from there. Just because it's going to allow me to blend out that friction that's down lane and, hopefully give me that room back that I had initially had. So as we continue on here, it's kind of hit or miss if I'm gonna be able to get the ball to go through the pins the right way. Like sometimes it hooks a lot, sometimes it doesn't. Like that one hooked pretty early, when before it would just lay there and it would recover, but it would still strike. Now it's trouble. Now it's lots of trouble. So as we get in the 9th frame here, we just wanted to talk to you today about, surface change, when that bowling ball is at its sweet spot, and how you can take that and use it to your advantage. If you know when your sweet spot is, more than likely you're going to be striking a lot more. And of course, we did verify these surfaces while we're bowling with the CTD Ball Surface Scanner version 2. And as we finish this game out, I did shoot 167 this game. The look has gone away. So if I'm bowling in a tournament, this ball is going away. I am Dustin Zahner with Creating the Difference. Have a great day.